Hi, we are back with Amanda Nachman. She is the founder of College Magazine. She is an entrepreneur that I met recently with Nifty, and she is also trying to encourage teen entrepreneurs. So this would be great. So, hi,
Hi,
Amanda. So big, obviously the big thing is, we want to know about College Magazine and how you got started.
I had the idea when I was in college. I had interned for another magazine called Washington Spaces, and I loved the vibe there. It was really creative. I loved the team effort and putting the magazine together. Um, and but I was writing about doorknobs because it was a home and design magazine, and I thought I would really love as a college student to write about a topic that affects me as a student, and I just think that would be really interesting from the perspective of the student, to read something that deals with college life, and I want to know if there was any other kind of guide out there. I felt that I could have benefited from something like that as a student, and I figured I would call it College Magazine. You have teen people, you have people, but what about the college people? So I did my research. I kind of looked around to see if there were any other guides out there. Something to tell you, how to figure out how to study abroad, how to get an internship, how to navigate through college. Befriend your professor, make new friends, party, kind of college 101. And there really wasn't that much out there. And so from there, that's kind of how I came up with the idea. And I went around on the school, flyered around the campus to see if anyone wanted to write for it, because I thought if it's going to be about college, it should be from the voice of the student. So I flyered around the campus, and when I had writers show up to write for this non-existent magazine, I knew I had something.
Okay, cool. So I've read that you were an English major and then turned entrepreneur. Like, how did that come about? Because did you take any business classes at all?
I think that what I loved most about the English major was that it was a flexible enough major where I could take other classes that I was interested in, and I also got to be a part of the Quest business program at Maryland. It's a business honors program. I actually originally was business and English, and so as a business student, I applied for this honors program and got in. And what was really neat about it was kind of this real life experience. You got to be a consultant for a company, and really, meet with the executives and solve a problem. And I felt that that was really terrific, real life experience in terms of, how to be a consultant firsthand. And also the first class was invent your own product, which was really up my alley. That's what really drew me to the program. The being able to invent my own product was just what I wanted to do. That was the entrepreneur inside of me. My team invented a top bunk bed storage system, which is really cool. Because you're living on the top bunk bed, you've got no place to put your stuff.
Right.
As a college sophomore, wonderful times. But yeah, I mean, I think the English major, its flexibility is what allowed me to kind of take other classes that all shaped who I am today. And I kind of pulled experience from this class and from this class, and I think all of them contributed to the entrepreneur that I am today, and helped me to start this business.
Okay.
But really, it's real. I think it's just, if you have an entrepreneurial spirit, if you think you have a great idea, if there's something you're passionate about, and you're a teenager and you have that passion now, that's great. And I just think you don't really necessarily need a certain major to dictate what you'll do in your future. It's just important to study what you're passionate about, and you'll learn as you go.
Great. Coming back to your magazine, the five areas, right, or the topics in your magazine. How did you come up? How did you come up with, writing for them, or how did you know that these were the topics that you wanted to put in the magazine?
It took some time to kind of categorize all of the information that we wanted to share with our audience. Initially, I just let our writers write what they wanted to write about, issues
Okay.
that they cared about. But the catch was, they had to research it. They couldn't just write their opinion on the best way to get an A. They had to ask professors, how do you get an A? And talk to peers who actually got the A in the class. So it had to be research. It had to be, real journalism. And we kept the bar high. And I think that's what draws readers to our magazine, is that, these are great top quality articles, and it's competitive to write for us now. but so I guess we chose the topics over time. We started to find trends that, we kind of had the sex and dating pieces. We had the entertainment, music, celebrity pieces. We had our whole sports section where it wouldn't necessarily be sports news, but maybe we'd talk about the Harry Potter team on campus. They're playing now. What's it called? What's that game? Do you know it?
No, I actually don't.
Quidditch?
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Quidditch.
yeah.
Yeah, now they're forming teams on campuses. So kind of like quirky sports teams, but also interviews with top athletes on the campus and, what it's like for them to be a student and an athlete and some of those challenges. So we can kind of cover something a little different than maybe ESPN.com is covering. We could talk about maybe a team that's not covered that much, like a women's cheerleading team. We have the college life section, and that's academics and, classroom issues, and how to make the most of your academic career, finding a mentor, networking with your professor, getting the grades you need, studying tips. Does an all-nighter really help you out in the long run?
Right.
And then some career advice. So, looking towards your future and, how to get a job, what it's like to be on an interview, and kind of getting it firsthand from the student that just got out of an interview with a company and got the job. Instead of hearing it from the Career Center, you're hearing it from the student firsthand.
Okay. About building your team, right? You said you had a lot of writers write for you, and now it's become more competitive. So how did you set that standard up front? Did they have to go through some kind of test to see whether their writing was good enough for College Magazine? Non-existing.
The coolest part about being an entrepreneur, that's different than than graduating from college and getting a job, is when you graduate from college, you get a job, you start at the beginning of the bottom of the ladder, okay? You are, you're going to learn the basic skills in order to move up the ladder and eventually be president, let's say. When you are running your own company, you are every position on that ladder. So when I first started out with College Magazine, I was even writing for the magazine because I needed to know what it was like to be a writer for my own magazine. I needed to figure out how I would how I would structure this position. So I was a writer too, and I thought, okay, well, they need to be well researched. I looked at other magazines and said, what elements do they have that make them so great, and how can I compete with them and be better? And then, so then when I brought on other writers, I could tell them exactly, how it was done. And then from there, I moved up to an editor, and so I kind of moving up your own ladder in a sense.
Right.
And we started off just kind of taking people that were interested in excited about writing for us, and as we had more interest in the magazine and more students were applying nationwide, we started putting the message that we were looking for writers on over 70 different university listservs. So we had a couple applications every day for writers online, and from there we were just able to be more selective.
Okay.
We're looking for students that have experience writing for the school paper or writing for their school magazine and had a couple really strong writing samples. And now, we only accept a certain number of writers.
Okay. What number are you guys at right now?
So how it works is we have 5 editors for each of the different sections, which are sports, entertainment, social life, success, and sex and dating. And under them, they each have 4 writers, 2 bloggers, and a photographer.
Okay, how is a writer different from a blogger?
A writer is different from a blogger in the sense that a blogger is a little bit more opinionated. It's almost like their own column. The blogger has ownership over that piece. So, the sex and dating blogger can say, "I'm the sex and dating blogger." She's the only one you're going to read about a blog from that section. So it's her voice. It's more opinion. It doesn't require quotes and interviews from experts necessarily, but she might want to put that in there. So that's a big difference.
Okay.